I am talking about a new continent that has not been told about here up to now. And yes, I belong to Estepa Association in Spain, but Estepa is more involved in European scope of architecture, urban architecture, and my work in Africa is somehow connected, but there are many other ingredients in a continent with such big differences that some aspects are connected and some aspects are completely different. And in this first session of the Congress, we have seen mostly the people underlying in the building, not only the building itself or the processes of building or techniques, but also the first and second speaker spoke a lot about how people react and how people get involved in the building process, and how the building process is also a part of architecture, and how people have an influence on the buildings we produce, and the buildings we produce have an influence on people. So it's a double influence, we may say. What I am about to talk about is exactly that. It's from very far away. One of the 20 countries with the lowest development indexes, human development indexes, where I work in Senegal. The experience we have had and we are still having with involving women in building. Have to consider this is a Muslim country. We were very, very discouraged by our own colleagues in the last decade to try to do this, because, oh no, you will be having a lot of problem with the traditional polygamic society. Maybe you will be contested. You will have problems if you try to involve women. It's not the same as in other continents. But anyhow, because I am a woman myself in building, as I'm an architect, and I am stubborn as well. So that allowed me to slowly, very slowly, and knowing already the West African spirit and society a little bit after 10 years, working in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Senegal now, where I live, actually. What I want to tell is a little bit through an example of a woman I have chosen, like a little trail we will follow, is to see how things that seem to be impossible, it's something that has already been said here, things that seem to be impossible to do or very, very new approaches apply everywhere, to the first world, also to the developing world. We will place Senegal on the map. This is Senegal. Dakar, which is the capital of Senegal, is the most western point of the whole continent. And that's why all the slavery processes were rather concentrated in this area, because the trip was shorter, of course. They wanted to make the people feel more comfortable in the ship. I don't think so. So these three places that you see there, more or less the area I've been working through this time, all these years. Joal Fadiouth, Kaolack, and Marlodge. The distances for you to see are, if we could do it straight, it's more or less 100 kilometers from one point to the other, but as you see, there's a delta in the middle, so you have to make all a tour around, and it's about 3-4 hours, 3 hours or 4, depending on many things, to get from one point to the other. No. Well, it's not the end. No. Thank you. So, Senegal, as I told you before, I won't speak a lot about Senegal, but to have an idea, the index of human development is a bit among the 20 lowest of the world. And instead of increasing, of coming up these last 5 years, it has come down. It's not because there's not economical development. There's a lot of economical development. There's a lot of economical development. But when you take into account many other human factors, it has come lower than before, 6 or 7 positions. That means the neighboring countries have improved some issues that Senegal hasn't. And that makes the European and Canada and some other Francophone countries ask, why is this happening? And one of the issues is that the inequalities, gender inequalities, have not been changing so fast as in other countries around. So that is one of the things that is measured in the human development. Okay, in the human development indexes. So women are not been growing as fast as the rest of the population. So many of the programs, I am explaining you this only to understand why the focus on women. So the government agencies of many European countries that make some cooperation development programs in Africa, now they have their target on women. Women are a principal target, main important issue. On the other hand, normally the activities up to now even, the normal activities considered for women are just to avoid confrontation with other cultures. It's easier to say, okay, we will improve their knitting, tourist souvenirs, different dressing abilities, all the classical women tasks, improving that, going further, bringing sewing machines, etc., introducing computer abilities, etc. But what happens? The market is already crowded with women, hundreds and thousands of women that have assisted to different improvement of their skills for all these naturally expected women tasks, which is a problem. There's such a competence, there's such a competitivity that they don't get but, I don't know, 50 euros a month with all a full day, a full-time day working on this kind of activities. So why not? That was my original question many years ago, because I worked there. I'm a coordinator of development projects, and I'm an architect as well. So why not introducing women into a really well-paid activity, like building? A country that is developing so fast, with so many new population every year, because they have a lot of kids. So building is a very, very, very constant activity, and there's a place for everyone. And sometimes you have a lack of masons and a lack of people. So why not introducing women? And what we did was in one of our projects. Here is Emily. Emily is the example I will follow. There are many like Emily. Emily is a woman from Joal Fadiouth, and in 2012 we had a project with Architects Without Borders in that city of Joal Fadiouth. It was not with earth building, it was a concrete building, but they gave us a chance to say, okay, make a pilot experience to see if it works, to see the response of the society and the women themselves. Are they interested? Are their husbands allowing them to work? Is the rest of the society, will they agree of having women in a working place instead of at home, etc., etc.? Many questions. So we offered this training for brick, cement brick making, offering immediate job for those who engaged. And we had some 13 or 15 women which did it, and then exactly they were engaged for a 6-month building. They were working together. And the other year again, the 13 became 6 because they had kids, they changed husband, different problems. But 6 were still there. Some years later, we arrived with another experience. We said, okay, this is the pictures that are looping now. There are some, here they are with the CEB, the compressed earth blocks. We said, okay, now we want to add something new to your abilities, and it's CEB. They didn't know anything about CEB or Simba rams or anything. So if you get engaged in this new training, you will have the double of a contract, because we will make the concrete bricks for foundations, etc., and the rest. So you can have the whole contract during almost a year, if you agree to learn about this. It's not about sustainability. You don't talk about that. These people need to eat. That's all. No nature, sustainability, less of cement. Something has to be less expensive and bring me something to work, because I have 5 kids to feed and to send to school, etc. That's one of the things that has to be addressed. When you try to interest people there, it's through that you will get to the other point after. It's not in the beginning, because it doesn't work. It's not important for them. They don't see it it's not in the first line. So, okay, do you agree? Yes, we agree. Okay, they took we make the training, and they were formed, and then the next step was convincing the chief of the building site. Okay, these are the plans, this is the contract, and all the women, all the people producing your bricks, because bricks normally there are produced on site, always. Cement bricks, all kinds of bricks are produced there on site. It's an advantage for earth building, because they are used already to that. So we say, okay, all the bricks, it's not the usual team we are hiring, but these new women said, what? Women here? No. I say, okay, we will do something. We'll get 15 days contract to see how you manage together, side to side, etc. And it worked so. The same masons came to say, wow, they are responsible. They are never drunk. They work a lot. They come, and if we have to work on Saturdays, they are there. 7:30, they are already working. They are neat. They work very, 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 very accurate work. We are very happy, and we want to go on. So that family of masons on one side, and brick femmes bétécières, in French is I don't know, in English it would be CEB women. The CEB women became a part of the process of building from that day up to today. So here you have seen them already 2 or 3 times. They begin with the bricks, with the concrete bricks. Now we have this health center and maternity, and the houses for the doctors that Emily and 4 of 5 of the women were still working in that project. From the 13, they began 6, 5, and then 4, because one is married later, and her husband doesn't want her to be with other men. Yes. The other advantage for CEB and women, because why did we choose CEB instead of Adobe? It's very simple. It is a Sahelian area of Africa. So there's very little water. Water is for people, for animals, and for plants. It's not for spoiling in buildings and in plastic systems. It's very obvious. And the other advantage is that CEB is easy to be done with Simba ramps. The presses are replicable. We make them locally, very easily, cheaply, and we have made dozens of Simba ramps. And they are transportable, and it's an easy work for a woman. It's not hard. It's only repetition, but it works very well with them. And Emily was pregnant in this stage. She didn't tell me she was pregnant, and she was hiding her pregnancy until the day I arrived and said, "Where is Emily?" And she said, "She's in the hospital." "Why is she ill?" No, she had a baby. What? Huh? And then I went to see her and the baby, and she said, "Maria, if I told you," because she wore like very open clothes, and I thought it was her way. No, it was a baby inside. And she said, "If I told you I was pregnant, you would not let me work in the place, and I needed the money because of the baby coming and the other kids." So everything was fine. The baby was fine, and she was fine. Huh? But she has hidden that. And as you see, also the masons didn't know anything about CEB and earth building. And in the beginning, it was also we had to make some training for them because it was like change completely your working style. And we formed this team of 10 or 15 masons. To adapt to CEB. And in the beginning, they were like, "Oh, this is very slow," because, concrete bricks, 20, 15, 40, very quick, you make the walls. But you cannot have what you see. So they began to fall in love with CEB because it's good for hands. They are not blessed. They can make their inspiration also into the building and propose things that are not on the plans. We have talked about that before. So they say, I am able to do this and that and that. What do you think? Oh, it's fine. Excellent. We change. We do it like you do. So they began to discover they were artists as well, and they were very, very happy. And so the team worked together in this first experience very, very well. This was in 2013-14, and everyone is happy. The doctor and the nurse who lives in these houses are very happy with their families. This is behind the center, the health center, and also the fact of producing the material just by the building site, it was so exposed. Women working in bricks, and the beauty of the product was so openly exposed that it attracted a lot of people and a lot of debate. The mayor and the authorities coming to see what you're doing with women. So there was two changes in a single experience: women in building and CEB, and it was very successful. Let's see if I can change now this. Yes. By the end of that, that was happening in Africa, in Senegal, and at the same time, Estepa in Spain was the member of, was a Spanish representative of the ECVET Pirate project. Maybe some of you know about it. It's ECVET is an European system for vocational education and training. European Credit Vocational Education and Training means ECVET. And we had this European project for 3 years, 18 centers from 8 countries in Europe, Estepa representing Spain. And And we developed an EGVET for earth building in different levels. EGVET has 8 levels, from very elementary to PhD. And we were addressing the vocational education and training levels. That means people that get their hands dirty. It's not architects, no. It's the people knowing how to build, because we have already a lot of architects, PhDs. It's very important, but if we don't have people able to make that happen, nothing will happen. We are only seeing, at least in Spain, and it was a shared experience with the other members, that if you don't involve young people, young generations into the crafts, the old men knowing the knowledge, they are dying, and then there's no replacement. And that's a dangerous thing for traditional and for modern architecture based on earth. So EGVET as a building, I don't know if you can see the web page. It's for free. You can download the units. They exist in the 8 languages of the project, which are, I will begin from Spain, Portugal, France, Germany, United Kingdom, Serbia, Czech Republic, and Slovakia. All the 8 languages are available. For us, it will be very practical: English, French, and Spanish. So, why am I talking about EGVET here when I'm talking about Africa women? Now you will see. So, when you come into the page, you will see that you can pick the units place, and you have all the units we have produced, which is, they have letters. Unit M is the material, P is the production of bricks, B is the building techniques, R is repair and restoration, F formwork, for rammed earth especially, C is plasters, clay plaster, D is design, O is decoration, and E is marketing. So for the moment, these are the units we have agreed to. It was a very, very long debate. We are going to talk about this in Terra Education 3 in 2 weeks in Grenoble. And okay, the project was ending at the same time that the women were doing the things we said before. It was a parallel thing that I was coming and going all the time, during all that time. And the units, you can download them from there. So you will find it. It's an easy page. It's only in English, the page for the moment, because the resources economical were over. So we arrived up to there. But the units are all available in all the languages. You can download the level, and I won't talk a lot about this because you can find information in the page. Here is Unit M. And I took one in English and one in French for you to see. It's all the same. And it addresses knowledge, skills, and competence needed to accomplish a certain task in different depth. That means if you just arrive into the place, it's level 1. Level 2 is someone that works under the supervision of a mason, for example. Level 3 is a mason. Level 4 is a person already able to lead a group inside a working site. And that's all we did. There's a level 5 also that we did. That's like supervisor. So, but in our particular case, I was focused really on the level 3 and 4. We didn't do this time level 1 and 2 because we wanted to focus on vocational education and training levels. So professional people working on site. Level 1 and 2 is more like information and a little bit of introducing to the system. So the competence is not the same. Knowledge and skills are the same for level 3 and 4 because the only difference is one is working with himself and the other leads a group. So the competence of level 4 is different than level 3. And then we have, for example, I took this one, production of adobe, CEB, or compressed or extruded bricks. And it's the same in English. And you will find all the units in all the languages. You can download it and use it. And we encourage people to do it. So what does it have to do with the African women? It has a lot to do because okay, am I going to be able here? Yeah. So the project, the previous one was over in 2015, and in the beginning of 2016, there was many things coming together. ECVET was already published. I knew ECVET by heart because I was one of the writers. I was building my own little CEB house, so it could be used as a screen for showing things. And there was a new big development, 4.5 development projects involving women in Senegal. And I was the leader of coordinator of an NGO, a Spanish NGO in this area that I showed you before. And we decided with Estepa to make a pilot experience trying to adapt and adopt, if possible, ECVET to a very, very different context, which is Senegal, and with a gender accent. So we invited a lot of local NGOs and different associations and members of governments and local people for free, of course, encouraging women to come, and also masons and people in the building professions. And we had people from Architects Without Borders, from Sweden also coming. You will see them. They are easily recognizable. And we made this, we called it ACVET because of ECVET is Europe and ACVET is Africa. And also in Latin American, we use it, they say ACVET because there's another experience going on there. So we made this level 2.5, less than the ECVET sheet, but we used the ECVET guidelines to make this workshop and a short evaluation to see if it worked and how to adapt it to a very different context from the original one. And we had this 4-day workshop with a lot of local women in the island of Marlodge. People had to come in the pirogue, as you saw. And it's impossible to be distracted with Wi-Fi because there's no electricity. And so we were very concentrated on and you have nowhere to go but the island. Huh? You can swim in the night, it's very nice, but the rest is work. And not only we had all the theory and explanations of how things work, but also, of course, Emily and her team were the trainers. We invited them to teach, to be the practical trainers. We wanted them to be the practical trainers for the unit P, CEB, in CEB. And Emily said, no, me and the girls, we are going to teach white people, engineers. No. I said, yes, Emily, it's you who know. You come and you will be a black woman teaching men and even white people, because this limit they put to themselves. So they were like, that was the first time. Now they are very confident, but in the beginning they were like they didn't want so much to do it. And then when they saw they were really the ones knowing how to do it because of their previous experience, everything was relaxed. As you see, we made all the on-site experiments. We asked people from all the associations we invited to bring a little bit of clayey material from the places. As you see, there are a lot of of difference, very, very nice colors. Okay, all the training is the usual things. And then we had that was for Unit M, and then in the afternoons, on the following morning, we had the Unit P, all together, practices of CEB by my growing house. So that's another fact that I want to make this consideration. Many times there are many associations or NGOs or churches or people particularly with a goodwill of helping or bringing something to Africa or to I don't know where, and bringing some systems that they are trying to see if that works or not. But when you live there and you share really with the people, they say, do these people that come offer us these bottle houses or whatever, do they live in these kind of houses? I bet they don't. They live in very comfortable apartments. That's a thing that is usually coming in the identification of projects. It's like, okay, they do this for us, but they don't live in this kind of thing. They don't. They have other things different. This is for us because we're poor. So the fact of myself being, I did it express. So I am building my house with the same thing we are offering now. And 1 year later, we invited people to come and see the house, how fresh it is, etc., etc. And it worked out very, very well. You see the Swedish part of the. We had this small assessment exam at the end. Of course, we could not deliver an ECVET certificate real because it has to be done in Europe. But in the future, maybe that will work. This is the examination, the M and P. More. Now I have to wait to the next picture, I think. No? Two of the people that were here, they are important because this woman and a man, I invited them expressly because they are a part of a big and local NGO called APROFES, Association pour la Promotion de la Femme Sénégalaise, working with women, and they were our partners in many of the developing projects that we had in another area. And I was interested in them especially because they are powerful, they get very in-depth in the territory, and they are reliable. They are there since 1987, and here they are. So I wanted them to know about CEB, and then to see if they decided to try to put this together, but not from ourselves, but from them. Them asking, wait, we want this to make a try and to see what happens. This is the wind. The Serer culture usually make like songs for the occasion. So in this case, I didn't understand, but they told me that they were saying we like this brick because it brings equality for the women. That's what they were repeating. So these people, these were not the only ones, but as I have to choose an example, I had chosen Emily and I have chosen a professor because they were the first to react. Very, very shortly after the workshop, we had this meeting. They called us to say, we have been considering the possibility of including the CEB training with the ACVET guidelines into many of the projects we have in the rural areas, and we want to encourage local women from very small villages of 200, 300, 400 people, to encourage them, but we need to see if they will accept, because they are very, very, very poor areas with a lot of analphabetism, polygamy, 3-4 wives. So it's not easy, as it was in Joal, which is a village. It's a city. So we said, will it work or not? So we made this try. We took a Simbaram and we made a little tour showing what it was about, and Emily again or someone from the team came with me, and we explained the system practically in 7 villages, and then we had this. We encouraged women to participate. There was like around when we said we want women to be the trainers, and we introduced Emily as a chief owner of their own enterprise with their own presses, explaining this. And this is the second when we signed the contract with the local authorities. People circulating pictures and signature of agreements to make the training and the production of CEB instead of cement bricks for different infrastructures in the villages. So this is the contract signed by the association, a profess with the women. New machines, because they were not enough, produced locally. The girls went there to check if everything was fine. The day they delivered the machines. No, it was before painting. And after that, some 6 months, more or less, after that original workshop in the island, they were already working in the villages. It was quite fast, actually. And it was even faster in a Muslim closed society than it usually is in our countries. Very, very fast. So these are the girls hired by in every town. I think it was, the project finished in October last year, and it was the different teams of professional CEB, femmes bétécières, going to the different villages, and they took 66 trainees, from which 54 were women and the rest men. So men were accepted, but we gave the priority to women. So they were men, and women and men had to obey the women. We were not there every day. We went there once a week or every 10 days because we had a lot of work elsewhere. So they were alone there. They were offered a house, a place to be, and this is one girl that was a trainee 3 years ago. She was 17, and now she's 20, and now she's professional. And she earns more money than her father, she says. And this is the kind of latrines, latrine douche, and a hen house, chicken house. And we make good lobby with authorities, the mayor of a rural community, and the possible new... There's another fact, is women with 8 children can work very easily during CEB with no problem. So we made a small survey and an evaluation at the end, asking them 10 questions. It's very long. It will be ready for the results. Will be ready for October conference in Guatemala. But as an advance, it was about what did you think about the questions were what did you think of CEB before the arriving of the machines, and what do you think now? The other was how did you cope your because they're married women, very very young, so they all have a lot of responsibilities at home. Everything is done manually, everything. So it's a lot of hard work. And how did you cope to work a full-time 8 hours a day work? Because they were paid a salary. That's an important fact. They were paid like unqualified helper in a working site. The same salary. And but they had to respond. So how did you cope with that? How did you do with your family tasks? What did your family and your husbands think about that? How are you? What would you do now with CEB? And what do you think about CEB now? They all agreed CEB is a craft for women. So we want to go on with it. We were very sad that the machines went away after the project. We want a machine for us here. How can we do? Because we don't have the money to buy one. So now it's the second stage is cooperatives to finance and then pay little by little the first one, like the other women did. So one of the tasks of the original teams of women, those formed in the beginning, is that they explain their experience. How did they get to be the owners of their own enterprise, and what are the sacrifices they have to do because they have to go away for a week or for 2 weeks or for more time out of their families and come back. And all that feedback with the local people was very important. And then how much did you earn? Do you earn that amount of money in any other activity? And no one of the 66 persons, even men, they said, men, 1 or 2 said yes sometimes, but the rest, never in their life they had earned 2,000 and some CFA, it's the local money francs, which means 3 euros a day. It was such a big amount of money for them. Normally they earn 300 or up to 1,000 doing peanut work, which is very, very common there, or little commerce, little bargain things they buy and they sell in retail, very, very small doses of things. That's all they win. So number one, it's very, very good from the economic side. Number two, very good for them to know that there was a task they didn't know women could do. And number three, to discover their husbands will support them. All the men in the survey agreed and support their women because they say, yes, we agree because they bring money to the house. And they help a lot, and they are very responsible with the money because the money a man said that. The husband of one of them, which is the chief of one of the villages, an old man, he said, when my son goes to work, he buys a new cell phone. But if my woman goes to the work, everything is for the kids, for the shoes, for improving the house, etc. It's no cell phones. So it's better for the family. So they have seen, even from their Muslim polygamic side, that it's a good thing for the family and for the economy to let one of the women go and be trained and work and be happy doing something very good. And last, we will see. Yes. Only this is this. This is a project that we don't know the result. It's we are waiting for the answer from public funding. It's normally all these projects I'm talking about. They are big projects officially funded by governments. It's not small NGOs or interventions, and they have agreements with the Senegalese government. It's not things that you do because you want in a place. No, there's an engagement, and there are documents signed, and money. It's a lot of money, and comes from governments, national or regional. So this is a project that came just after the other one. That's why I don't have pictures, because they don't exist. But it's for after training 66 people plus the ones we had before. APROFES and other local NGOs said, now we want to build from the beginning. It's not an adaptation. From the beginning, with all the working force of women, we want to build the shelter house for women and girls victims of gender violence in Kaolack, all built in CEB by the same women that we are receiving people, women with a lot of troubles, that if they come back home, they will be in more trouble. And it's a possibility that we offer them training to build their own shelter house for them and for the other women to come after them. So before we said that to protect something, you have to know it. And if you don't know something, you will never love it. And there will be no resilience. So for resilience to be, for people to feel they are building on a technique or a creation belongs to them, is involving them in the process. And that would be one of the ways of giving sustainability to it. We are waiting for the answer. We think it will be a yes, but we'll know in 2 months. So I think that's all. Yes. This is they are not only working, these women are not only working for NGOs, they work for particular clients as well. This is happening 4 days ago, at the island at Marlodge, where I have my house. My house is a piece of a house. I'm doing it slowly, but it attracts the people, white and Senegalese and black. They come and say, what is it? They come in and it's fresh and say, I want a house like this. So next to my house, there's someone copying every little detail of my house, and I'm very, very, very happy about that. They said, hey, they have to pay you something. I said, no. I did it it's there for being copied. So they are doing exactly the same. That is my house behind. And this is Emily and a group of new trainees doing CEBs for the new place, very much bigger than my house. This is my garden with a CEB. And from the terrace, you can see behind. You can see the big thing coming behind. It's all CEB. These are the girls, and a part of the building now under construction. It's a 400-meter lodge, eco lodge. And the masons, the masons are also, now they want to go further. It's not only, hey Maria, the pictures you show about arcs and vaults, we want to go on and teach us more things, because we want to go further. So they are doing these things. They didn't know anything about this because cement bricks don't allow this kind of things. So this is all. Thank you very much.